Hey YouTubers, so I'm here to talk about the new MTA redesigning of the Queens Bus Network, and I got information on the following changes to the following bus lines and which depots will possibly receive the bus lines. Now, this information I got is coming from people that are trained in bus buff. And, I don't know where these people be getting the information from, but most of the time the information becomes correct. So I don't know where they be getting the information from, but like I say, most of the time they are the information they receive is reliable, and they are correct most of the time. Okay, so first starting off is the Q1 line. The Q1 will become a limited bus, and the Q1 will be operating from JFK cargo area. That's where the Q7 used to drop off, but the Q7 will no longer be going to that part of the route. So now that would be taken over by the Q1, and then the Q1 will be traveling along the Q6 line. The Q6 will be eliminated, will be traveling up the Q line through Sufton Boulevard through Jamaica. Then once past 165th Street Terminal, it would go down its regular route to Hillside Avenue to 243rd Street. So that would be the changes to the Q1, and the depots that would be assigned to the Q1 would be Queens Village and JFK Far Rockaway depots. So those are the depots that will be sharing that the Q1 line, which to me that would make sense to keep both JFK, Far Rockaway, Queens Village operators on those lines, being how they are familiar with half of the portions of the routes. They just have to learn the other portion of the route. So that would make sense to have both depots operate those lines. And just to give you a little bit of history of the JFK Far Rockaway depots, those two depots used to be operated by Green Bus Line Bus Company before MTA took over the private bus lines. So that's why those JFK and Far Rockaway, the mo- the majority of most of their routes, they both of those depots share the same bus routes together. So excuse me. So that's why. So if you hear me saying JFK Far Rockaway depots, it means that those two depots, majority of the time, share the same bus routes together. Okay. So moving on is next is the Q2. So now the Q2 will be a rush bus. So that means the Q2 will still be going through its existing routes, but down once it hits Hillside Avenue, it like makes express stops. So that's what they mean by a rush bus. It makes maybe one or two stops along the line. So the Q2 will go from 165th Street Terminal to Belmont Park. So there's really no changes to the Q2 except for this going to become a rush bus once it hits Hillside Avenue. And the Q2 will be assigned to Queens Village Depot. Next is the Q3. Q3 will be going from 165th Street bus terminal, and then it will terminate at JFK AirTrain Lefferts Boulevard. So that's where the Q3 will be terminating, at the AirTrain Lefferts Boulevard station. Now, the reason why this will be until 2026, because JFK is going to be getting a new overhaul, and they're going to be doing construction there. And so traffic is going to be slowing the buses down. So they want the bus to go away where it's not going to be running into traffic. So that's going to be the plans for the Q3. Q3 will be assigned to Jamaica Depot. On Q4 will be coming from Jamaica Center, and Q4 will be extended to Elmont Road, Nassau County, to make connections with the NICE bus. So that would be the changes for the Q4. Q4 will be a rush bus. Q3 is a local service bus. Q4 will be a rush bus. Q4 will be assigned to Jamaica Depot. Next, we got the Q5. Q5 will be from Jamaica Center to 243rd Street, 147th Avenue. So that would be the Q5. So Q5 will be assigned to Jamaica Depot. Next is the Q7. Q7 will be okay. So Q7 is going to be like going like to Nassau County. Is going to be extended at both ends. The Q7 used to terminate at JFK Cargo Area, but is no longer going to be going there. It's going to keep straight down Rockaway Boulevard to Nassau County, and it's going to terminate at Nassau County. And then it's also going to have an extension to 75th Street, Eldert Lane. And to my understanding, the Q7 will no longer serve Shepherd Avenue and Pickett Avenues. Q7 won't serve those avenues anymore. So the last stop would be 75th Street, Elder Lane, where you can make connections to the J train. So the Q7 will be assigned to the JFK Far Rockaway depots. Next, we got the Q8. Q8 will be from 165th Street Bus Terminal. Excuse me. 165th Street Bus Terminal going to Brooklyn to now the Q8 will no longer be serving Gateway Plaza. So it will not be going to Gateway Plaza anymore, so Gateway Center. So it would be bypassing Gateway and be going to the New Locks Avenue number 3 train station. That's where the Q8 will be terminating at. So it'll make a new train subway connection to the number 3 train. So the Q8 will be assigned to JFK Far Rockaway Depot. Next, we got the Q9. Q9 will be from 165th Street Terminal, 160 Street Terminal, and then it will be extended to 100 instead of the last stop being Rockaway Boulevard. Is going to be extended to 135th Road and 130th Place. And that's the Q9. And Q9 is going to be a rush bus. Q8 is going to be a limited bus. Q8 is going to be a limited bus. Q9 is going to be a rush bus. Q9 will be assigned to JFK Far Rockaway Depot. Okay, coming up next is the Q10. Q10 will be coming from Lefferts Boulevard Air Train Station. Hold on, I'll be right back with y'all. Okay, so now the Q10 will be coming from Lefferts Boulevard Air Train Station. Q10 will be a limited bus, Q10. So the Q10 will continue doing its after leaving JFK Lefferts Boulevard. It will do its regular route coming up Lefferts Boulevard to Kew Gardens um subway station, 80th Road, but that will not be the last stop because now the Q10 is going to make a left turn on Queens Boulevard, continue to Queens Boulevard to Jewel Avenue, make a right turn on Jewel Avenue, and it's going to pick up the Q64 service to 164th Street, Jewel Avenue. So 164th Street, Jewel Avenue will be the last stop for the Q10. So the Q64 will no longer exist. They're going to eliminate the Q64, and the Q10 will be assigned to JFK Far Rockaway Baisley Park Depot. So both Baisley Park, JFK Far Rockaway will be sharing the Q10 line, which to me would make sense because Baisley Park had the Q64 line. So it would make sense to have operators from both JFK, Far Rockaway, and Baisley Park to operate the lines together. So that would make sense. So that would be for the Q10. I have to take a drink. My voice is dry. Okay, now we got the Q11. Okay, so now the Q11, will be a local bus. Now the Q11 will still do its normal routes through Howard Beach, Hamilton Beach, and then it would come up Cross Bay. Now, to my understanding, Cross Bay Liberty will be the last stop for the Q11. The Q11 will no longer serve Woodhaven Boulevard and no longer will be going down to Queens Center Mall. So the last stop on the Q11 will be Liberty Avenue and Cross Bay, and then the Q11 would not be operating 24 hours anymore. So that would be took over by the Q21. The Q21 now will be running 24/7. So on the Q11 will still be assigned to JFK Far Rockaway depots. Okay. Next is the Q12. Q12 will be from Flushing Main Street. Now, the Q12 used to go up Sanford Avenue and then connect to Northern Boulevard. That's going to change. Q12 is going to go up Main Street, make a right turn on Northern Boulevard, and continue to Northern Boulevard up until Glenwood. To Glenwood and Northern Boulevard, that would be the last stop. So that would be the Q12, and Q12 is assigned to KC Stingle Depot. So that's Q12. Next is Q13. Now Q13 will do what Q12 used to do. Q13 will be going up Sanford Avenue, and then once it hits Northern Boulevard, it'll go to Fort Tarleton. So that would be the Q13. Q13 would be going from Main Street to Fort Tarleton, and Q13 would be assigned to Casey Stengel Depot. Okay, now we got Q14. Now, Q14 is a new route. Q14 ain't the old Q14 that some of y'all is familiar with. So now this Q14 will be going to coming from Fresh Pond Road to 94th Street, Dick Marks. So that's going to be a new route. And Q14 will be assigned to College Point Depot. So that'll be Q14. Next, we got Q16. Okay, so Q16 will be from Avery Avenue to Francis Lewis Boulevard. That would be the Q16. And Q16 will be assigned to Casey Stengel Depot. So Q12 is a limited bus. Q13 would be a rush bus. Q14 is a local bus, and Q16 is a local bus. So that would be for the Q16. Next is the Q17. Q17 now will be from 49th Street, College Point. It would be extended from Flushing to 49th Street, College Point. And now the last stop for the Q17 going towards Jamaica would be 193rd Street. Well, once it hits Union Turnpike, it's not going to go past Union Turnpike and 188th Street. It's going to go to 193rd Street and Union Turnpike is going to be the last stop for the Q17. And the Q17 will be assigned, surprisingly, to Casey Stengel Depot. I did not see that one coming. Okay, so that's the Q17. Next up is the Q18. Q18 will be from in Astoria from 2nd Street going to 69th Street and Grand Avenue, to 69th Street and Grand Avenue. So from my understanding, the Q18 used to do like a couple of turns into the routes there, but they made it so the Q18 could be like on the straight route. So I forgot the names of the streets and avenues that they used to turn down, but they would no longer be doing that anymore. So that would be for the Q18, and Q18 is assigned to LaGuardia Depot. Next is the Q19. Q19 would be from 2nd Street in Astoria, and then it would be going to 166 Beach. 166 Beach. So that would be the Q19, and the Q19 will be extended from 100 and would be extended from Main Street, and then to be going to 166 hold on, let me check something here. Okay, so now the Q19, when it gets to go down to Astoria Boulevard, when it gets to Astoria Boulevard and 108th Street, is going to make a right turn on 108th Street to make connections with the Q23, and then when the Q19 gets to 108th Street and Roosevelt, it's going to make a left turn on Roosevelt and continue right into Flushing, and then the last stop is going to be 166 Beechhurst. 166 Beechhurst is going to be the last stop for the Q19, and the Q19 will be assigned to College Point Depot. Next, we got the Q20. So now the Q20 used to have like the Q20A, Q20B. They're going to eliminate that, and it's just going to just simply be the Q20. So the Q20 is going to be from 166 Beechhurst to Queens Boulevard and Main Street is going to be the last stop for the Q20. So so Queens Boulevard and Main Street will be the last stop for the Q20, and Q20 will be assigned to Casey Stengel Depot. Okay, coming back to the Q21. Now, I said the Q21 will be a 24-hour bus service now. Q21 will be from 82nd, will be starting off from 82nd Street and Roosevelt. It's going to take over what the Q29 used to do. So there's no longer going to be, the Q29 is no longer going to exist. So the Q29 is going to take over the Q29, and then it's going to go down once it gets to Queens Boulevard, then it's going to go down Woodhaven and go on the Q21 route to 92nd Street. So that would be the Q21, and the Q21 will be assigned to JFK Far Rockaway Depot. Okay, Q22. Okay, Q22 will be from Rockaway Park, and Q22, yeah, will be from Rock Park, and then it would be extended to 5 towns. So that's the change to the Q22. Q22 will be assigned to JFK Far Rockaway Depot. Q23. Okay, now there's a change to the Q23. Q23 would no longer be going into Forest Hills. What Q23 is going to do now is going to be going to start off from 102nd Street, Dick Marks, and then the Q23 is going to take over for the for the existing Q48 does now, but the Q48 will no longer be going into LaGuardia Airport no more. So they're going to eliminate that part of the Q48, and the Q48 would no longer be going into Flushing. It's going to be a completely new Q48 bus. So the Q23 is going to take over for the Q48 from Dick Marks to is going to continue straight on to 108th Street. The Q23 is no longer going to go up 102nd or come down 103rd Street. It's no longer going to do that. So this new that's where the Q14 is going to do. The Q14 is going to go up 102nd Street and it's going to come down 103rd Street. So the Q14 is going to take over for the Q23 for that part of the line. So the Q23 is going to go straight up 108th Street. And then once it gets there, it's going to go to 64th Avenue and 188th Street Fresh Meadows. That would be the last stop for the Q23. So the Q23 will be assigned to College Point Depot. Okay, next is the Q24. Q24 now is going to be terminating and starting from 89th Street and Parsons. So it's no longer going to go to Merrick. Q24 is no longer going to go to Merck. So Q24 is going to start out at 89th Street and Parsons, and then it's going to go, up Jamaica Avenue, and then it's going to go. To my understanding, Q24 is not going to even serve Jamaica Hospital no more, so it's not going to go up through the Van Wyck anymore. So I think what the Q24 is going to do, what the Q41 used to do. I think it's going to go through that way up Atlantic Avenue, and then the last stop is going to be Broadway Junction. It's not going to go past Broad. It's not going to go up Broadway. So the last stop on the Q24 is going to be Broadway Junction AC train station. So that's going to be the last stop for the Q24. Q24 is still going to be assigned to East New York Depot. Okay, Q25. Q25 will be starting at the New York Times, Linden Place, New York, where the New York Times is. That's where the Q25 is going to start off at. It's no longer going to be starting at College Point. So it's going to be going from Linden Place, and then it's going to be going to Merrick Boulevard. Hold on, let me check something real quick. Okay, so the Q25 will be by the New York Times, Linden Place. It no longer will be going into College Point. That would be taken over by the Q17. And so Q17 yeah, so it'd be taken over by the Q17. So now the Q25 would be going through Main Street down to Jamaica, but this time it's going to be going to Merrick in Springfield. Merrick in Springfield. So yeah, so the Q25 will be going to down Merrick in Springfield. And the Q25 is assigned to Jamaica Depot. Okay, I did not see that one coming. I'm surprised that they gave that to Jamaica Depot and didn't let College Point Depot keep that one. But to my information, that's going to be assigned to Jamaica Depot, the Q25. Okay. So coming up next is the Q26. Q26 will be from Main Street, and the last stop on the Q26 will be Francis Lewis Boulevard and on 120th Street. 120th. Okay, so I forgot to mention before that going back to the Q23, so the Q23 would be a limited bus. On the Q24 would be a Q18 local bus, Q20 local, Q21 local, Q22 local, Q23 limited, Q24 local, Q25 would be a limited, and on Q26 would be a rush bus. Q26 rush bus. Okay, so on Q26 will be from Main Street, Flushing, and then the last stop will be um, 120th Avenue, Francis Lewis Boulevard. And the Q26 will be assigned to Queens Village Depot. Next is the Q27. Now, Q27 will be going to 119th Street, where the and College Point, where the Q25 used to go. So the Q27 will be going through there too, and then the Q27 will make its last stop on 230th Street and 69th Avenue. 230 and 69th Avenue. So the Q27 will be a limited bus, and the Q27 will be assigned to Queens Village Depot. Next is the Q28. Okay, I don't think there's much changes to the Q28. I think they just gonna avoid certain turns that it used to do. So I think it's gonna be a straight route. So Q28 would be from 39th Avenue, Main Street, Flushing, and the last stop would be Bay Terrace, Bayside. Bay Terrace, Bayside would be the last stop for the Q28. Q28 would be assigned to Casey Stengel Depot. Q28 would be a rush bus. Next is the Q31. Q30 will be eliminated, so it won't be no more Q30 bus. Q31 will be from Archer and Sufton, and will be going to 15th Avenue, College Point Boulevard. 15th Avenue, College Point Boulevard will be the last stop for the Q31. Q31 would be a local, and Casey Stengel Depot will be assigned to the Q31. Next is Q32. Okay, I'm going to talk about this a little bit. Q32 is going to stay the same. It's going to start out from 81st Street and Northern Boulevard. The last stop is going to be Midtown Penn Station. Now, I think MTA could have made the Q32 a little bit longer. Just eliminate the Q33 and have the Q32 do what the Q33 does from Northern Boulevard on to 95th Street and Dick Marks. So I think I think the MTA could have did that, and also the Q32 is still going to be assigned to Casey Stengel. Now, personally, I think MTA should have took that away from Casey Stengel and just should have gave it to LaGuardia Depot, because LaGuardia Depot is right there on 23rd and 84th, 85th Street, right there, right off of Astoria Boulevard. It would have made sense to give the Q32 to LaGuardia Depot, or better yet, give it back to Michael Quell Depot in Manhattan. It would have made sense to give it to either LaGuardia or to Michael Quell, or let both LaGuardia and Michael Quell share the Q32. It would have made sense, because being how Casey Stengel is picking up the Q17 and picking up a couple of other lines, they should have gave this route to LaGuardia or Michael Quell Depot. But that's just my opinion. Okay, so Q32 will be the same. Q32 will be a local bus. And as you heard me say, it's going to be assigned to Casey Stengel Depot. Okay, so next would be okay, so I'm done. This is part one. I will continue with part two later on. So that's it for right now. I would get back to you later with the other part 2 and part 3s. But this is my review of this session for this redesigned bus line. So I would talk to y'all later. Thank you. If you like the video, please subscribe. Please hit the like button. Thanks. Really appreciate it.